Ruth Wilson loved getting down to some hard graft on a Yorkshire farm to prepare for a film role, shearing sheep and mending fences, but she admits she was just as thrilled to get back to her creature comforts, hot showers, and cappuccino. She told me, after explaining how she bonded with the land for director Cleo Barnard's movie Dark River, which opens here next week. Wilson plays Alice, who returns after several years to the family's homestead following the death of her father, played in flashback by Sean Bean. Her brother Joe, Mark Stanley, has let the place run down, and the siblings are soon at war. After Alice announces she intends to take over the tenancy, she feels she's owed it after the sexual abuse her father inflicted on her. Wilson's on top form, giving a raw, wounded performance as a woman who cannot bear to be touched. Early on, she's alone on screen and, as she steels herself to re-enter the house, her face and body language paint a vivid picture of her psychological torment. When we were making it, we talked a lot about the shame of abuse, and how it breeds silence. And that inability to speak breeds more shame, Wilson observed when we met for coffee, her, and tea, me, in London. The film explores the feeling many victims have, they are somehow partly responsible. And that's what keeps them silent, Wilson said. For me, the film worked on several levels, the brother believing his sister has no right to the land she was raised on, and the fact that working the land is no holiday. Wilson recalled how she and Barnard discussed how we've put the land on a pedestal. What the patriarchy has done to the female body, well, the same thing has been done to the countryside. We made it look beautiful, yet underneath, it's brutal and violent. We've been objectifying the land the same way we've been objectifying women. That's the thesis Cleo was testing. Every man Alice meets, in the UK at least, puts her down and patronizes her. When it's abundantly clear she has more experience with animals and farming than they do. Sheena Kerslake, who was named one of Screen International's 2017 Stars of Tomorrow. The Irish actress, pictured right, will join Resi fans in Joe Penhall's new play Mood Music, which Roger Michell will direct for the Old Vic, where previews start on April 21st. Ms. Kerslake will play a singer called Kat, whose lawyers are locked in battle with the legal team of Bernard, a famous rock star turned producer. Fans. The dispute. Who owns the rights to a hit song performed by Kat? It's about creative exploitation, and the way powerful people use, and abuse, less powerful people, Penhall told me late last year. The production will be Kerslake's London theatre debut. She won acclaim for the TV series Can't Cope, Won't Cope. A topic for the Times, I suggested. I think it's a really interesting time, Wilson agreed. Quite a delicate time as well. Our industry has sold sex, and we, as women, are the ones being sold. We sell a lifestyle that doesn't really exist. For commercial reasons, we've become commodities. So sometimes I think that image of us, on the red carpet, and being lined up against other women in magazines, the competition that becomes, doesn't do us justice. Men don't get objectified in the same way. They just walk the red carpet and are respected for being artists. Whereas we, women, have another job to do, which is to sell products. And so I think we might be undervalued for that reason. It's not about your work, which is depressing. It's about your beauty, or if you've got the best outfit on. Everyone's complicit in it, she added. I find it a constant fight in myself. I think a lot of actresses do. She's been reading Virginia Woolf's essay A Room of One's Own. Woolf was feeling shut out over the need for men to feel naturally superior to women, she said. It's all very messy, but Wilson believes that's okay. It's a major discussion going on between women and men, and it requires deep thought. There will be trauma, a lot of pain and revelation. There will be revelations closer to home. When Wilson portrays her own grandmother in a 3-part BBC One drama, filming with director Richard Laxton in April, with the working title Mrs. Wilson. It's about Granny and grandfather. When he died, she found out she wasn't the only wife. There were 4 of them all together. There are also rumors that she has returned to playing the fascinating Alice Morgan in a new 4-part series of Luther with Idris Elba. She gives me a look that suggests I might end up getting sheared like a sheep if I don't shut up. Then she smiles, and leaves. Pia disappears at the National. Award-winning actor James McArdle is in early discussions about starring in David Hare's adaptation of Ibsen's Peer Gynt, planned for the National Theatre next year and retitled Peter Gynt. Most productions of Peer Gynt, which was never intended for the stage, have been interminable. I'm trying hard to think of one I've enjoyed, and failing. But I have great faith in McArdle. Hare and director Jonathan Kent, who did wonders with Platonov, which ran in the Young Chekhov season at Chichester 18 months ago before moving on to the NT. McArdle has become a national star following his powerful portrait of James I, in the James plays. He also did the Chekhov on the South Bank. And last year he played Louis Ianson in Marianne Elliott's brilliant production of Angels in America, which is about to open on Broadway. Chess. I'm glad to be on board, says Michael Ball. Michael Ball knows the musical Chess so well. He has sung the soaring duet You and I with Elaine Paige, who was on the concept album and created the part of Florence on stage, and another number, Anthem, with current concert and recording partner Alfie Boe. He hasn't sung I Know Him So Well, but only because that's a number for the leading ladies. It's one of the greatest scores ever written, said Ball, who will play Anatoly, the Russian chess champion in the show created by Benny Anderson, Bjorn Ulvaeus and Tim Rice. The production, with a 48-piece orchestra, also stars Alexandra Burke as Svetlana, Tim Hauer as Freddie and Cassidy Jansen as Florence. The original Freddie, Murray Head, is the arbiter. It is set against post-war intrigue between the US and USSR. People forget what the Cold War was about. Lots of betrayal, said Ball, who has just returned from a concert tour of Japan. He remembers chess running at the Prince Edward Theatre. I never got to see it because I was in Les Miserables at the Palace, but I raced out to get the concept album, he said. Ball's working on a new solo album. I'm feeling a bit nostalgic for songs that evoke the 70s, he said, adding that he's talking to songwriter Jimmy Webb. He'd like another long West End run. I'd love to do L'Arcade York's Fall, I Do Rockin' If Rock, he said, and revisit Edna Turnblad in Hairspray. I loved every single thing about that show. Chess starts rehearsals on March 19th with a first preview at the London Coliseum on April 26th. Producers Michael Linnett and Michael Gray don't possess the Broadway rights, but I'm hearing that if Chess works at the Coliseum, there is a desire for it to transfer to New York. Ball, meanwhile, said he's just concentrating on London.